One of the main things we talk about in embracing the shadow is really connecting with the body and the sensations that come up in the body as we reveal parts of ourself we fear will not be accepted, we think are unlovable, or we've been taught to keep in the background. It's just sensation. I feel it right now. Woo, I got tingles talking about this. And I want to practice what I preach and put out content that, it might cause a little sensation to come up in my body. And that's part of my practice is to welcome that, be curious about that.
This is Rebel Therapist, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are trained as therapists and who want to level up their businesses, make a bigger impact, feel fulfilled, and be very well paid. I'm your host, Annie Schusler. I ran my first remote coaching program using email and Google Docs. Zoom wasn't really a thing yet, so we met over the phone. I'm so glad I didn't wait. I'm grateful to my former self for not automating or polishing the offer before being willing to jump in. The 3 entrepreneurs who signed up will always be so special to me. I use more sophisticated tools in my programs now, and I can geek out about choosing a course platform or integrating and automating different systems. But the tools and platforms are not what give value, and they're not where we should start. We need to start with the value we're providing as therapists, healers, and coaches. We need to start with the transformations we're helping our participants make. Today, I'm talking with a therapist, healer, and entrepreneur who just launched her first online program, and I'm so excited to share her with you. Hannah Green is a holistic psychotherapist and ferrywoman to the inner depths. We're going to dive in and talk about her pilot offer, a women's group called Embracing the Shadow. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Annie. This is so fun.
I know. I'm so excited. And we had weird technical stuff trying to get here, and it only makes me feel more bonded to you.
Exactly. And that's the times, right? You're like, okay, be flexible, pivot,
Yes.
stay
Go with
calm,
it.
like you said. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So I'm so excited to talk to you about what you have created in 2020. Can you tell us about what changes in your business have happened and new offerings that you've created in 2020?
I'm laughing because it's like, what's changed? Everything,
This whole year is a shit show, and you've found ways to like pivot and go with it and grow and yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I just think this is an incredible time. It's just personally so much transformation, collectively so much. It's not easy, but I think it's amazing. And yeah, so now I have a completely online therapy practice, which, okay, I didn't know I would love, but I totally love it. And who knows, what I still have my office. I may very well go back. I don't know when. I'm just going with that. So that's very new. And then I created, actually, there's 3 big things. The one I'm most excited about is the Embracing the Shadow group for women. And that's new this year and is evolving and so fun. And then I created another one that is not doing, I'm not doing anything with, but I'm excited that I got to create it. It's more of a couples program. And maybe that's for a later time. And then the other thing that's new is I now have people booking non-psychotherapy appointments with me just for tarot, which is really exciting as well. So those are all very new. And, and then there's, of course, a lot more just personally. It's just such a transformational year. But those are the big changes to my business.
Oh, exciting. So, will you describe your group for women? Is it a therapy group? Is it not a therapy group? Like how does it work?
It's more than a therapy group. It there's there I'm so excited. Where do I start? I love what I get to do with this. It is part women's group, part mystery school, part salon, and part alchemical community is the most succinct way I can kind of describe it. So there is very much a women's process group element to it, but there are some other components that really make it more than a therapy group.
So tell me about the way it's structured.
There are three main components to the group. And this is changing, evolving. The first iteration of the group, it was much more intensive. We were meeting weekly and we were really focusing on the shadow and practices and group activities for integrating the shadow, becoming aware of what's in the shadow, and then integrating that. And it's evolving more into a monthly group where really focus, and this is kind of the mystery school component, is focusing in on creating a dialogue between the conscious and the unconscious mind. And that's also the self study element of it. And we meet twice a week, or sorry,
Mm,
twice a month. No, no, no.
twice a month. Okay.
Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
hold on. Nobody has time or capacity for that right now, I don't think. Twice a month. And that first meeting, we focus in on the different practices and readings and the self-study component. And then the second time we meet, it's a little bit longer of a meeting, and we really dive into more of a process group together.
Hmm. It all happens over Zoom.
Yes, 2 Zoom meetings. At the beginning of the month, they get this packet that really outlines our theme for that month, and along with that, there are different self-study and different practices, outlined for that month, and then the third element to it is there's a lively forum. So people are in the forum really connecting and posting pictures of the images they're creating. There's a whole uh, working with imagery element to the group, and the forum is a really nice place to share that and connect.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, geeking out a little bit, and we'll kind of talk about both the logistical stuff because my mind just cannot help but find that stuff out from you. And then also more of the kind of the way that you run it in in a human way. But I'm really curious about the tech.
Mhm.
Like what platform are you using for that network?
Well, right now I am using Zoom for our meetings. For the what's it called?
Like the place
Forum.
where the forum,
The
right,
forum.
right.
I don't have a lot of a lot of this is really new to me, Annie. So I'm learning as I go. And I just did a good old Facebook group because that's what I knew how to do. I love the idea of moving on to Mighty Networks eventually, but there's only so many hours in the day. So there's only so much capacity I have for learning new platforms and new tech this year. I'm learning so much this year. And the Facebook group is working out great so far.
Okay, good. So you're using Facebook and you're using Zoom, and then with the packets that they get, how are you delivering those? Is that digital or actual
It's
physical
digital.
packets?
Yeah, they just get a nice PDF at the beginning of the month, and then I usually send out a Loom video, just talking about this month and kinda connecting with everybody. And I'd send some more emails because 'cause I'll get excited about something and wanna send out a little more information. But I try to do that on the forum, and I'm directing people to really communicate with me too on the forum so that everybody can benefit from the questions and answers. Yeah.
I love that. It also makes it easier well, for me as a facilitator, I find it makes it easier for me to make sure I haven't missed anything if I've started directing everything back into the platform where my program happens so that I don't miss a thing and that I can stay organized without having to, like, kind of gather things from different places. When you went through the program, it wasn't all on Mighty Networks yet. Now it's all happening on Mighty Networks. And so if anybody's listening and they're like, "What is this Mighty Networks?" It's just a platform that where you can have courses and communities, and I don't have any kind of affiliate relationship with them. It's just working well for me. But I love what you're saying about, like, just directing people to where everybody can benefit and where you're also then just doing less tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just letting it be, an evolving thing, letting my giving myself permission to really learn new things this year, and certainly not to have it all worked out before offering something that I'm really excited about because I learn by doing, I learn by listening to feedback I'm getting and trying new things. And, I'm going to be willing to do what I, try to inspire my clients to do, which is, be themselves. It's okay to make mistakes. And it's working out.
And jump in and start offering the program. I love that. I think a lot of times people think that they need to have everything automated and streamlined before they start a program, and I think that's really backwards.
Backwards.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like we can do so much through the platforms that we're already familiar with. Like, you can use like you're talking about using Zoom, using email, using Facebook, and then it sounds like this is like the second iteration of
Hmm.
this program,
Yeah.
and then you'll decide what platforms you wanna try once you know exactly,
Yeah.
like, as you're learning exactly what your community really needs and what you need.
Exactly, exactly. Just try it.
How did you decide what changes to make between like, what changes ended up happening between the first iteration where you're saying you were meeting weekly and then this second time? What did you notice? "Okay, this I wanna shift, this part I wanna grow, or this part I wanna get rid of." What happened there?
Mhm. Well, I listened to my participants and their feedback, which was like they wanted to continue, which I was so excited about. It was like we did a month and they wanted to continue. And so I listened to that and was like, okay, so what might that look like? And I wanted to meet less,
Mhm.
just for the pace. I mean, for me, I have a full practice. And also the material that we're doing, it's kind of like a slow and steady wins the race, consistency, but really having some more time in between sessions to have your own journey with the material and then come back and share. And so that was a big change. I brought the price down, which is not usually my style at all, you know. Um, but I just felt like, wouldn't it be cool if this costs just a little bit less than one therapy session? That would be so cool to really be potentially, people getting so much value for the cost of one therapy session or a little bit less. And I thought that would be just supportive of people right now and would be kind of, just a little less daunting for new members too. That was a change. And yeah, just kind of how I wanted to focus the material changed. I don't know how much of that you want me to get into.
Yeah, when you are I was gonna ask you about that. When you give people those monthly packets, how much work is that for you?
I don't know if I could really call it work because I'm getting to write about the stuff that I am super excited about. It's this, blend of psychology and mysticism. And I'm so lit up about being in a place in my life and in my practice where I can talk more about this and I can really integrate those two things in a way that's really meaningful to me, but also that other people really resonate with and get results, from. So it doesn't feel like work. Getting to sit down and look at, okay, what's the main theme? And we use a tarot card from the major arcana as kind of the umbrella, the focus for that month's inquiry and that month's practices. So it's a way for people who are interested in the tarot as well to really dive into that.
This is really exciting to hear you say it doesn't feel like work. And I'm getting the feeling of like, this is what you would want to be doing. This is what you want to be doing with your
Yeah.
time, with your life, with your energy, is like getting to gather a group of people and work through this with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love my still seeing my individual clients and my couples. I love that. So, I haven't quite figured out how that balance will go, but I'm figuring it out in real time.
From what you've noticed so far, how big do you think this group, like what do you think the optimal size of this group would be?
Well, I kept it very small on purpose the first time because I really wanted to create a very safe and warm container. So it was 6 people, and I think we're gonna add a few more going into November. But, I'm not sure, Annie. I have the number 10 in my mind as my next, that I could really hold that. And I think the way that I run the groups, we could still really give everybody a chance to share and connect with each other. But, part of the reason I wanted to do this is my private practice has been full for a couple of years. I really don't get to take on new people as much as I might like to, but this is a way to really leverage my time to where I can work with more people, and that's really exciting to me. And also those people get the added benefit of being in a group, which I really know from my own personal experience, this kind of synergy between doing individual work and then being part of a community and part of a group that's really supporting the growth you're doing, giving you feedback, inspiring you. To me, that's the magic formula. So, yeah, many of the people who are in my group, I also see I know them from my private practice. I also see them for individual therapy, and that has been really amazing.
To get to work with them in both ways.
Exactly.
Mm.
Which I was nervous about because that's new and, we have to have those conversations and make space for what comes up, but I've literally only had it be very positive, on both ends, and I've gotten such great feedback, and some of the good feedback I've received is, "I love getting to work with you in this other way and really see that this is not just your job, you're into this stuff. You live this and you're really excited about it. And I think even more of that comes through in the groups.
I think one reason why I know it's not it's not always predictable, but I think one reason why your group has been successful and that it attracted people and now it sounds like got the right people in it and it's flourishing. I think one of the reasons for that is that you were really bold and creative and distinctive in your sales page and in I'm sure all of your communication about this group. I know I get your newsletter and I got to read about it there and I got to see your sales page and you're very bold. Like you're not trying to appeal to everybody and you're going really deeply into what you believe, what you care about.
Mhm.
What's my question? I guess I wonder.
Thank you. Thanks. That's what I'm going for there.
Yeah, so what's that like for you? A lot of people are afraid to do that. I guess that's what I'm thinking is I work with a lot of people who are really afraid to go bold and to appeal to some people and not appeal to other people. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, sure, it's scary. Yeah, and the people that I admire do it anyway, and I mean, to me, willingness is such a magic ingredient. If I'm willing to do something that is a little scary, my experience is that has a really positive and potent effect, on me personally, on my business. And, I mean, one of the main things we talk about in embracing the shadow is, really connecting with the body and the sensations that come up in the body as we reveal parts of ourself we fear will not be accepted, we think are unlovable, or we've been taught to keep in the background. It's just sensation. I feel it right now. Whew, I got tingles talking about this. And so, I want to practice what I preach and put out content that, yeah, it might cause a little sensation to come up in my body. And that's part of my practice is to welcome that, be curious about that, and flip the script on that no, this is not a sign that I'm going in the wrong direction. This is pointing me in the right direction, toward aliveness and authenticity and excitement and the good stuff,
Mm,
you know? Yeah.
that makes so much sense. And then it has led you to running a program that doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It all lines up. So before I let you go, I have to mention your newsletter again. You have this beautiful, mystical, and I would say very effective newsletter. And I'm wondering if you can tell us what your practice is around writing your newsletter, like how often you send it out. I know that's changed over time, and what your practice is in creating it.
Thanks. Well, you've helped me. Thanks for your help, Annie, with my newsletter, just your feedback. And you gave me a brilliant piece of advice, which was, like, what about doing the same amount of work and just reaching out to people more frequently? I was, nervous about doing that. I kept it to once a month for a long time because, oh, I don't want to bug anybody or something. And, you know, it it is, really nice now doing it twice a month. I send one out, to keep myself organized and kind of in a rhythm. I aim to do one on the new moon or right around the new moon of that month and one right around the full moon of that month. And it's fun for me. I love writing. Our work as therapists, I think, is so much about being receptive and listening, and that is a skill that I have. And there's a lot of stuff I'm excited about that I want to share and talk about that I think is also really useful. And the newsletter is really a way to just get into my voice and share very differently, obviously, than I would in a session. And getting to work with a craft, of writing and learning about how to express those ideas. And I love images, so I get to really play with a lot of images in all the content that I make.
It's future Annie jumping in for a minute, and then we're going to get right back to Hannah because you're going to want to hear the rest of what she has to say. If you want to get my help creating an online program based on your gifts, join me for Create Your Program. Clarify your niche. Figure out the best way to deliver your offer based on your gifts and preferences. Create a marketing plan that's not predatory, oppressive, or manipulative. Work with an inspiring and smart group of entrepreneurs who want you to succeed. And get lots of one-on-one support from me. That's all part of this experience. To learn more about it and register, head over to rebeltherapist.me/create. I didn't ask Hannah to praise the program in this interview, but since she decided to share, yes, she created Embracing the Shadow when she was in Create Your Program this summer. So you get to work with cool and supportive people like her. Head over to rebeltherapist.me/create. Okay, let's get back to the interview. God, you just really practice what you preach in terms of like doing this around the times of the full and the new moon and saying what you want to say. It's really a joy to hear you talk about it. It's such a like I get to do this rather than I have to do this kind of energy.
Yeah. And there you don't get me wrong, there have been moments, I mean, it's 2020, there were moments where it was like, "Oh, why am I doing more work? Wait a minute." It's that thing of when a private practice is going really well, which I'm so, so grateful for that, but, you know, there are some resistances to expanding sometimes. It's like, "Well, why not just stay with what's safe and what's going well?" But this was just one of those things where I'm so excited about this material and, there was interest. And so any moments of resistance, or worry about it have been so worth it. And that's part of the reason I'm so glad to be talking with you about it because listening to your podcast over the years has been so inspiring to me and just getting to hear other therapists that are trying new things. So, if I can just inspire one person to do that thing that they're thinking about doing and, get the help that they need to do it, it's totally worth it to me.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
We work so hard as therapists, and we have so much to offer. I just love really supporting other therapists and especially new therapists any way I can.
Do you have any I feel like it's going to be yes. But do you have any morning rituals that help you get focused or help you kind of step into the day
Oh,
in the
yeah.
way that you want to?
That's such a fun question, Annie. Thank you. And I think one of the perks of 2020 is things slowing down and focusing in a way that's let me go further with my morning practices than I've ever gone before. And so, yeah, I mean, the very, very first thing I do in the morning, I mean, I'm not even out of bed. As I reach over, I get my images, I get my tarot cards, and I pull a card for the day and see what I see there. I want to connect with that unconscious realm right away, while my mind is still in that kind of dreamy space, you know, and then I have a journal. It's a alchemical journal where I write down that card. I write down a couple of astrological things that are going on, and then I record my dreams. And then right now, and I add different elements to that. Right now, I'm doing a kind of journaling where you just stream of consciousness write about your deep desires as if they've already happened in as much sensory detail as possible, which is a really fun way to start the day. It's like, wow, our new beach house, the sea air is, so beautiful and, that kind of thing. And then I move my body. I do some sun salutations and I spend about 20 minutes on my little fun runner, just rocking out, listening to some music. And then I do about 5 or 10 minutes of some more focused, kind of magical meditative practice, which I add things to from time to time. And then I'm focused and ready to go.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it works really, really well for me.
Beautiful. Anything else that I didn't ask you about that you want to share before we have to go?
Hmm. Just that, I guess just to any therapist listening to this, if you have an idea, if you have something you're passionate about, go for it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I loved your whole thing, Annie, of burn your license, that you were bringing up a while ago, just kind of facing those fears of, what's the worst that could happen? if we really step out, and say who we are, what we're excited about, what actually works for us, and share that in a way that's, fun and brave and meaningful, I just want to do more of that. Hope that me doing that is supportive of other people really bringing their gifts and their medicine out. We need it right now.
We absolutely need it. I know we're recording this in October before the election, and yeah, we absolutely need it.
Yeah. There's a lot of challenges right now and a lot of opportunities, I think, just to get down to what's most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Oh, my pleasure. I just so appreciate you, Annie. Thank you so much. It's nice spending time with you.
Learn more about Hannah at hannahgreentherapy.com. I want to thank Cosmo Palms for editing this podcast. If you found this episode supportive, please share it with your favorite therapist or healer. That's how we reach more therapists and healers so that they can help more people too. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Ah, we did it. Oh my gosh.